How do I describe my school in my diary? Well, I don't know. I have written about it several times. Sometimes when I have a good time at school, it is super. But when I am bored, it is horrible.
Although it is only 8 a.m., Ružica Sutana, with her distinctive teaching style, manages to hold the attention of the first-grade children at Sarajevo's St. Joseph's Catholic School. Ružica has worked at this school since 1996.
There have always been children of various backgrounds in my class. They are not just children from various regions, but also of different nationalities. There was a boy from Mexico, a girl from the USA, another boy from France and a girl from Belgium. Now there are 2 children from Poland, a girl from Greece, along with non-Catholic children. However, I have never had any problems regarding my teaching, the language structures I use, or my relationship with them or their parents.
Catholic schools in Bosnia-Herzegovina have a long tradition. Throughout the Middle Ages, the Franciscans taught locals to read and write in their monasteries. Large libraries were also founded in Franciscan monasteries at Fornica, Kreševo and Karlieva Sutjeska. The Franciscans played a significant role in the education of the Catholic population right up to the end of the 19th century. With the establishment of a local church hierarchy, the activities of the Catholic Church in the education field became institutionalized. Encouraged by the Bosnian Archbishop Josip Stadler, the Jesuits opened the first high school in Travnik and successfully educated whole generations of students. Its work was interrupted by the arrival of communism in 1944. Father Pero Pranjic, a canon lawyer and master of the Peter Barbaric Catholic School in Travnik, recalls the problems the school and its students had to face following the communists' arrival.
When the partisans occupied Travnik, they simply forced the Jesuits to leave, took over the building, and destroyed a great deal of its furniture and equipment. The building was then nationalized, and various state high schools opened in it. Thus, from 1944 to 1988, we have had no access, neither to the building nor to the church. The church was not nationalized, remaining the property of the Archbishop's diocese. But the communists said, "It is on our land, and you have no right to enter, and thus you cannot come into the church." The church was used as a gymnasium, and they lectured in the school building. Clearly, they first destroyed everything. There used to be a very rich botanical and coin collection, along with a big library containing almost 100,000 books. Everything was destroyed or taken away.
The 1991 democratic changes revived a sense of hope. However, the outbreak of war in the former Yugoslavia quickly crushed scholastic development. Marina Sarac, today a medical student at the university in Sarajevo, vividly recalls the first days of the war.
I remember that I could not go to school and that I was very happy for that. I thought that it was going to be great not having to go to school. I also thought that the war was not going to last very long. However, the war lasted for a long time, and when I finished high school and enrolled at the university, it was still going on.
Conflict and flight of Catholic families from Bosnia spurred the Bishop of Sarajevo, Pero Sudar, to propose an interdenominational Schools for Europe project.
Democratic changes in Bosnia and Herzegovina had taken place in a peaceful way. We would have spontaneously come to understand that Catholic schools are needed in Bosnia and Herzegovina. However, the war has almost hastened the process of understanding that they are of vital importance for our country, especially when it has become obvious that divisions and intolerance have entered all segments of human life, including education. Intolerance shown to people of different nationalities or religion led many families to the decision that they had to leave. I realized that we had no right to ask people to stay if we were not ready to do at least what was possible to provide opportunities for their children to attend schools in which they would not feel discriminated or humiliated.
The insanity of war in the besieged city of Sarajevo led to the suffering of many children. 3,500 died and 11,000 were wounded. Left to themselves without water, food, medicine or fuel, exposed to the constant danger of mortar and sniper fire, the inhabitants of Sarajevo did not want to accept that their children might be denied a future through a lack of education facilities. In its desire to oppose this destruction, the Church sought to offer all parents a sign of hope and help, and so it opened a Catholic Church school.
While the shells were still falling, and while some people were taking away parts of our school building to use them to repair the damage to their houses, we found a company whose workers dared to climb on the roof to fix it. Despite repair, the roof was damaged time and again. It was also very brave of parents to allow pupils to come into a classroom where they could be wounded.
It would have been even worse if the school had been closed. What would we do? Gather water and run away from the shells? I used to walk to school every day. Since my house was quite far away from school, it was a 7-8 kilometer walk in one direction and then the same back home.
We were obliged by law to invite parents to come to a meeting at the school. We invited 20 parents just to fulfill the legal requirement. When I came to the school for this meeting, it was not possible to enter. I asked the nun who was there why she had not opened the big hall. She said, "It is open, but it is packed." 800 parents came to this first meeting. They came to give a sign opposing the destruction and the prevailing opinion that nothing was possible, not even mere survival.
Amongst the multitude of parents who came to the Catholic school on that day was Irfan's and Naida's father, Sakib Kaduz.
Many of our friends suggested to my wife and I that we had effectively put our children on the front line. We were aware of that responsibility and the risk that their going to school and back home implied.
The lessons were normal. They were of the same quality and all subjects were taught. We had breaks, even a lunch break. We also had year-end examinations. There was no electricity, so we typed our graduation essays on mechanical typewriters. We did our best. There was also a celebration organised at school. We had a hard time to get to it and an even worse time to return home, since there was a lot of shooting in Sarajevo that day. The headmaster paid for a taxi to take us home. The possibility of having any kind of school ball or party was not even considered due to the danger of travelling. I am one of the first generations to have graduated from this high school. This is my class photo, this is me, this is Nina, she was sitting next to me, this is Anita, my best friend. She was the best in mathematics. Daniel was the most likeable in my class, but also all the others were likeable and very good friends.